Bengals Ravens. Well, that was a pretty shagadelic performance from both quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. They both played great. Me and Fred were sat there like, this is an AFC North game. This is
Did it get you, Randy?
Baby. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have done the Austin Powers thing there.
Sorry. No, we were both shocked. Well, Fred being a
mad.
Steelers fan, that so high scoring, elite play from both. Let's start with the positives, Fred. Obviously, Adam was just touched upon Derrick Henry there. Great game. Lamar Jackson played phenomenal. You know, the Ravens now 2 weeks in a row look like the team that we thought they would be. They're just going to go on from strength, surely, especially after beating a rival in the way they did.
Yeah, I mean, MVP conversation closed at the minute. Like, it's got like how good he is on the ground and in the air. Like I've said, I know I've said this quite a lot. I've said it a lot on the podcast this year and in multiple times in other ones. But like, I really, as much as I'm a Steeler, I love how Jackson has battled adversity, coming like with injuries and the fact that he was totally wrote off as a thrower. Yeah. And, you know, he goes 26-42, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 12 carries for 55 yards, total 520 yards. Like, that's it. That offense is cooking. I mean, he is going from strength to strength, and probably the most exciting quarterback to watch in NFL at the minute. Maybe next to someone like Jane Daniels, which is obviously hilarious given that he's a rookie. But, you know, he's so exciting to watch, and he's gone from a quarterback. The only thing where I go, like, I think we're starting to believe that this year is he's gone from a quarterback where I believe he can lead the team down to win the game. You know what I mean? Like, he's very, very talented, but, you know, he would be you. I would see you sort of see him in drives where you're like, well, the Ravens need this drive to win the game, and it's a little bit like the whole Lamar can't do it in the playoffs sort of thing. Like, it's actually this year
getting over that now.
It feels, doesn't it feel? I think it feels like that. It feels like he's
that
like
play yesterday, the one where he was out of the pocket and into likely was at the back of the end zone.
Insane.
Insane.
I mean, this offense cool. There's 7th in passing yards, 5th in passing touchdowns, 1st in rushing yards, and 3rd in rushing touchdowns. Like, that's a complementary offense. That is an offense that does both really, really well. He's only thrown 1 pick this year as well, which is even, you know, but they really stuck it to the Bengals. The Bengals made a valiant effort to keep up with them, and it was the Bengals' best game by far offensively. Did this one, but yeah, the thing they do need to work on is it's a bit like the Jets. Is their pass defense. Their run defense is amazing. They are number 1 in rushing yards. They've only allowed 302. But they are 31st in passing yards. They've allowed 1,401, which obviously Joe Burrow has added significantly to that yesterday. So they need to focus on that. They need to tighten that up. If they are going to be a legit Super Bowl contender this year, that's where they need to tighten up. I know Marlon Humphrey had a pick yesterday, and they played, you know, well yesterday, but they still allowed 38 points to the Bengals. Like, I know the Bengals are probably a lot better than, you know, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, in a second, but they're a lot better than their record states anyway. So yeah, I mean, they are must-see TV at the minute, and they're phenomenal offensively, and, you know, they do it with no one really. You know, Zay Flowers is an all right receiver. Rashad Bateman's not all that. Nelson Aguilar's not all that. I mean, Mark Andrews.
Charlie Cola suddenly became amazing yesterday as well.
Yeah, the Cola. Is it Cola?
Cola.
Koala. And he was phenomenal yesterday. Isaiah Likely, like, you know, it ain't Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, you know, on the other side, is it? You know, Mike Gesicki, for his said worth, is a decent tight end as well. Like, you know, so I annoyingly, as a Steeler fan, I think Ravens are must-watch TV. They're the team to beat at the minute, I think.
Yeah, Adam, with the Bengals, when I woke up this morning with Joe Burrow, I still think he's an argument for a top 3 quarterback, top 4 on his talent. He's so good. He's giving me Matthew Stafford like Lions at the moment. It seems like whatever he does, you know, like when Stafford on the Lions, like, you know, he's got the talent, you know, he's capable of winning a Super Bowl, but for some reason, each week something just happened. Like, they could have beat the Chiefs. We could be sitting here saying, "Oh, the Bengals lost to the Patriots week 1, but then they went and beat the Chiefs and the Ravens." but for some reason they've just fallen short in both of them. Like, given their record at the moment, Fred was obviously 100% right. We've said it before. The talent on that team and him doesn't reflect the record that they have, but like their playoff chances now are really slim.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough, isn't it? 1-4. I mean, that's hard work. I mean, I still think they're more than capable. The offense is very good. You saw that the offense can be very good. It became a shootout, didn't it? This game is basically what it was. The first half was strange, was quite quiet, and then it became a shootout in the second half, where I think the Bengals went for the decision of we've got to stop one or the other, and they just said, right, we're going to stop the run. That's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and stop Derrick Henry. And largely they did, to be honest. I mean, he only got 92 yards. So and bear in mind that run at the end was about 50, I think it was. Yeah. So, I mean, they pretty much bottled him up quite well. But they kind of went, well, we've got to do that. And then basically you're relying on Lamar to not be able to use the receivers well enough in order to be able to do it. And unfortunately for anybody else in the NFL, this goes to show that he is more than capable of doing it this way. But I think what you'll find is that they will resort back to the run being the main thing for the Ravens. But yeah, I mean, they can win either way. They are in a strong sort of like momentum at the moment, and they look really good. I think they will probably just continue to do that. And the Bengals, I think they kind of have to take the positives out of it, which is basically that they've got their offense going now, and their offense looks really good, but that defense is clearly not fantastic. It can be scored on. As Fred said, these receivers for the Ravens are not. I think Zay Flowers is good, but I don't think he's amazing. And that's probably about as good as it gets, to be honest, with the whole of the receiving core on the Ravens side. But yeah, I think that it's not impossible for them to get there, but it's going to be tough, obviously, at 1-4. And I don't know with Joe Burrow. I just, like you say, it kind of, it's a bit of a, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the talent is there, the weapons are around him. The O-line actually isn't awful, but still the wins aren't coming.
Remember that was the only issue, that when they made the Super Bowl was the O-line, and the O-line's actually not that bad this season.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's not too bad. But again, still they can't get the win, and it's strange.
They can't run the ball though. They're 26th.
They're getting they do miss Joe Mixon. I will admit I think that's a big loss.
I never thought I'd say or agree with that, but yeah, I know they do.
Yeah. It's going to be a big. You're saying about the defense really step up, Adam. Like Dax Hill now out of the season from looks of it. That's pretty big for them. Like really, really big. But
and Zach Moss, I know to defense, but offensively, when last time we said Zach Moss went down.
Yeah. I think they're better with Chase Brown. Personally, I think Chase Brown is a slightly
way more upside,
closer. Yeah. He's a slightly closer sort of like to Joe Mixon than what Zach Moss is. I think they're a little bit better with that, and he's doing a bit better by getting a bit more of the ball. But I think you saw with the Texans, didn't you? That first couple of games when Mixon was fit, how good Mixon is, and I think a lot of people probably just didn't think of him in that way until that he's now gone. So yeah, I think the Bengals are struggling a bit without him.
But the other 1-4 teams are the Patriots, the Browns, the Jags, Panthers, and the Rams. Like, are we thinking that I in my brain, Bengals are a way better team than all of them?
Yeah, they're lucky. They've got the Giants and the Browns, I think, in the next 2 games.
Yeah, Giants and Browns, yeah.
And then the Eagles. So obviously, like, you get to the point where they need to win these next 2 in any way. It could be convincing.
Yeah, but that's not going to be as easy as you think it is, because the Giants.
The Giants.
The Giants are starting to look all right. They've looked all right the last couple of weeks, but they're starting. They did well this week, and then of course, the Browns they should be. And who was the other one? The Eagles after that. I mean, that's going to be a tough game, isn't it? So you could quite easily be looking at what 2-6.
Yeah.
At that point,
wild, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
I know. Hopefully not. that Eagles Bengals game could get to a point where it's like loser doesn't make the playoffs or something. I mean, I know the Eagles have just had their bye now, but depending on what happens between now and that game, it will be crazy. But we'll move on.